excuse me, from Doy Bird. Coach, what's your gut feeling on Jordan Johnson and Xavier Watts playing this year, or the coaches continue to make excuses about putting them on the field?
I think we'll see him play because there's just not those veterans unless we see grad transfers. There's not a fifth-year senior like Javon McKinley. There's not a Ben Skoranek that you brought in up to this point now. Yep. So unless that changes. But, I think also those guys will probably fit the offense a little bit better. They'll know the scheme a little bit more. And I also think Brian Kelly's sick of us bringing it up, so you'll probably see that. But we've seen him give sophomores chances. It's sure. Usually like that first year or two, and when we've seen sophomores get opportunities, it's like Will Fuller in 2014, where they didn't have a veteran. When DeVaris Daniels, I've always said, would Will Fuller have had the breakout in 2014 that he had if DeVaris Daniels doesn't get kicked off the team? We don't know. We saw Kevin Stepherson as a young guy have a breakout in 2016. Equinemy St. Brown, they were freshmen and sophomores, but the thing is, there was one veteran on the team. That was Torrey Hunter, and he missed time because of a concussion. So I think this is an opportunity, especially with some guys, with some injury concerns. I think we'll see them get a chance. Now, whether or not they'll be a focal point of the offense, to me, is a bigger question. I think they'll play. I just, I don't think that, I don't know if they're going to be a focal point at this point.
That's fair. Here's a fun one, and I'll take lead off on this one. AJ wants to know what's more likely in 2021: Jordan Johnson starts or Notre Dame makes the playoff. I think they are very, one affects the other. There's no question. But if I had to say what is more likely, just based on the turnover of the team and based on everything that we don't know up to this point. On February 12th, I would say the more likely thing to happen is that Jordan Johnson is a starter. I think this team has every capability of being a 9 or 10 win team. I don't know if they're that level of a playoff team this year, but I think this year is super duper important to being a playoff team next year. So if you're asking me what's more likely in 21, it's that Jordan Johnson is the starter as opposed to being a playoff team.
I am very curious to see your answers when we do our schedule podcast, probably next week. We're going to do a video podcast where we're going to talk about, just go through the schedule.
And the problem for me, and I it's funny that you bring that up. I'm not sure where those losses are right now.
Right.
I'm really not. But this team just says to me 10 wins, 9 wins, but I don't know where those losses are.
Right. And I think the reason it's that way is I think people tend to get a little overly critical of their team this time of year because they think about all the people they lost. And
yeah, absolutely.
You don't think USC fans are freaking out about losing, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyler Vaughns and Elijah Vera Tucker and Tulia, Hafanga and
they all go to the draft.
They're all gone. Yeah, J2 Fele's gone. A lot of their best players are gone. So everyone's kind of panicking right now this time of the year, except those couple teams that have like 22 starters coming back, 21 starters coming back. So, but I tend to agree with you, but I'll say this: if Brian Kelly makes the changes he needs to make, that's going to mean Jordan Johnson's starting. And if Jordan Johnson's starting, then I'm going to feel that they got a shot to be a playoff team again, just because the schedule's kind of soft. I mean, if we're being honest, it's not a tough schedule.
Right.
And
absolutely. I agree.
Who lost more, Notre Dame and what they lost, or North Carolina, who lost a pair of 1,000-yard running backs, their 2 best receivers,
and they're ranked in the top 10 by some people. And
they're the new Michigan.
Look,
they're just going to keep ranking them high until it happens. But it will happen because Mac Brown's Mac Brown, he's a phenomenal coach. But anyway,
I agree with that.
I would probably go with. Plus, the other thing too is the greater odds. The Jordan Johnson thing is going to happen before the playoffs. So, that's kind of.
He's good. I mean, he deserves to be in the starting rotation. So
he deserves to be
a
major factor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, in the rotation.
I also think that I wouldn't start. Well, we got another question about the receiving core. We'll get to that here in a little bit, but let's keep rolling along.
Oh.